5 years. 5 years since the ash settled and the world took its first fragile breath of new life. Queen Anya, the bringer of the green, the healer of the scarred earth, had reigned over a kingdom born from ruin. The people, once lost and starving, had looked upon her with something akin to worship. She had given them water, food, and safety. She had given them hope, but hope, like any seed, can grow twisted in the wrong soil. In the shadows of the very prosperity she had created, jealousy and dissent began to fester. The gratitude that once united her people was slowly souring into fear. A fear of her power, a fear of the unknown.
The whispers began in the outer communities, carried on the dry wind like spores of a poison fungus.
They spoke of Jox. Jox, a man whose lineage traced back to the old world's military leaders, a man of charisma and steel. He moved with a purpose that bordered on obsession, his words sharp and convincing. He didn't see a savior in Anya. He saw a crutch. He believed true power was forged in struggle, not granted by a mystical gift. To him, Anya's magic was a sweet-tasting poison, making humanity dependent, soft, and destined for another, greater fall. He saw himself not as a rebel, but as a savior, pulling his people back from the brink of a comfortable oblivion. His network was a web of shadows, woven through the very fabric of the kingdom. Spies, once loyal citizens, now reported to him, their ears tuned to discontent. Jox's propaganda was insidious. A poor harvest in the western fields, not a fluke of nature, but a sign of the land rejecting Anya's unnatural influence. A child falling ill, her corrupting magic weakening their blood. Every misfortune became a weapon in his arsenal. The turning point came with the Grand Water Purifier, a marvel of post-cataclysm engineering that supplied clean water to the capital.
One of Jox's most trusted agents, a technician named Kale, sabotaged a critical valve.
The water slowed to a trickle, then ran murky. Panic spread faster than the contaminated water itself. Jox appeared in the public square, a picture of righteous fury, holding a jar of the tainted water aloft. "Behold!" he cried, his voice ringing with conviction. "This is the gift of your queen. Her power is a blight, turning even the very water we drink against us." The crowd, already primed by weeks of rumor, roared in agreement. The seeds of rebellion had taken root, and their thorny vines were now reaching for the heart of the kingdom.
The unrest reached the palace, not as a roar, but as a chilling silence. Fewer children played in the royal gardens.
The greetings from the guards felt strained. Anya felt the shift in the air, a pressure she hadn't known since the darkest days of the cataclysm. Her advisors urged a swift, decisive response. "Show them your power," one counseled. "Crush this dissent before it becomes an army." But Anya knew that fire could not be fought with fire. To use her power to dominate her own people would be to become the very tyrant Jox accused her of being. She chose a different path. She walked into the heart of the city, not with a royal guard, but alone. Her presence silenced the angry murmurs. She didn't go to the grand square where Jox had made his spectacle, but to the public infirmary where those sickened by the water were being treated. She moved from bedside to bedside, her hands glowing with a soft, gentle light, easing fevers and calming panicked hearts. She didn't speak of treason or rebellion. She spoke of healing. She worked tirelessly, her energy visibly draining, yet she did not stop. The people watched, their anger slowly giving way to a grudging respect, then to a familiar sense of awe. This was the Anya they remembered, not a distant monarch, but a healer, a protector. Then, she confronted the source. She found Jox not on a battlefield, but at the purifier, overseeing its repair. He was surrounded by his followers, a makeshift militia, armed with scavenged tools, and a fierce loyalty. "Jox," she said, her voice calm but carrying an undeniable weight. He turned, a sneer on his face, ready for a fight. But Anya didn't raise her hands to cast a spell. Instead, she pointed to the complex machinery. "The secondary filtration valve is jammed," she said, her knowledge of the device she helped design absolute. "It wasn't my magic that broke it. It was a wrench and a strong arm."
She looked directly at Kale, the technician, who flinched and looked away.
The crowd faltered. Doubt, a more powerful force than any spell,
Began to ripple through them.
You seek to lead them. Jocks, Anya continued, her gaze unwavering. But you lead them with lies. You prey on their fear because you believe it makes you strong. That is not strength. That is weakness. She held out her hand, not in aggression, but as an offering. True strength is building, not breaking. It is healing, not hurting. It is guiding, not deceiving. The rebellion, built on a foundation of lies, began to crumble. In the aftermath, Anya knew that a return to the old way was impossible. The rebellion had exposed a fatal flaw in her reign, dependence. To truly save her people, she had to teach them to save themselves. She gathered the brightest minds, the most compassionate hearts, even some of Jox's former followers who had seen the error of their ways. She established a council, a body to govern not by divine rights, but by collective wisdom. She spent months with them, pouring out her knowledge. She taught them the principles of sustainable agriculture, the secrets of water purification, the engineering behind renewable energy. She gave them blueprints, treatises, and, most importantly, the confidence to lead. Her work was not about creating a new ruler, but about making rulers obsolete. Her departure was quiet. There was no grand ceremony, no tearful farewell. One morning, she was simply gone. But she wasn't in exile. Her mission in the kingdom was complete. Her mission for the world was just beginning. She journeyed into the forgotten places, the lands still poisoned by the cataclysm's ghost. On desolate, irradiated plains, where nothing grew, she walked barefoot, her magic sinking into the soil, neutralizing the lingering toxins and coaxing forth the first green shoots of life. She found settlements huddled in fear, besieged by mutated beasts born from the fallout. She didn't just slay the monsters. She taught the people how to build reinforced walls, how to set traps, how to create defensible safe zones. She shared her knowledge of agriculture and engineering, turning frightened survivors into resourceful pioneers. Her goal was a legacy of hope, a global network of light. Each community she empowered became a new beacon, connected to others not by a single ruler, but by shared knowledge and mutual support. A web of self-sufficient, thriving communities designed to push back the darkness for good.
The final view is a montage of this new world. A farmer in a reclaimed desert checking his solar-powered irrigation system.
A community leader in a mountain stronghold teaching children from one of Anya's books. A new town rising, clean and bright, where once there was only rubble. And far in the distance, a solitary figure walks toward a new, unknown horizon. Anya's journey is far from over. She may be alone, but she walks in a world she is filling with light. The future is uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, it is bright. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.